The Weed Caucus, a group of Nevada legislators who are concerned and interested in the national movement to legalize medical marijuana and recreational marijuana, traveled to Denver, Colorado. Senator Patricia Farley, concerned about children, went on the tour.
My trip to Denver was very enlightening. We got to walk through several different dispensaries, grows, edible bakeries. So you kind of got to see the industry full circle and all the different components that make up a very successful economy and a marketplace in Colorado. So and then we got to meet with the lawmakers, which I think was fantastic because they've got an evolution there that we can learn from and not make the same mistakes here in Nevada. And that was the purpose of the trip for me, was looking at some of these laws and making sure that we're pulling in best practices so that our state gets up and running faster than maybe making some of the mistakes and tripping over things that maybe we didn't need to. So for me, it was a fantastic, eye-opening trip. And I think the other thing I was very impressed with was the regulation and the accountability. I didn't expect to see that, but those folks have really mastered, or are beginning to, I guess, master a process to make sure that medical marijuana and recreational marijuana is safe in their state. So Senate Bill 276 is basically a cleanup bill. It allows, first and foremost, for the licenses that are unused and that are not active currently to be moved into populations where there is a demand for that license, and that those counties or regions want those licenses put in place. It allows businesses to transfer ownership. And it allows for businesses to move within the same local jurisdiction that currently, under the previous law, would not allow those businesses to move.
Senator Tick Seegerbloom also traveled to Denver looking for the impacts of recreational marijuana legalization.
Well, first off, we had a real representative sample from Las Vegas and from Reno. Lots of good quality legislators, lobbyists, and other people that are interested in the industry. We saw basically a system that it looks like to me works. When you could drive around Denver and never know in a million years that there was marijuana legal out there, but then you stop and you see one of these stores, you go in there, and you're just kind of blown away by how organized, how efficient, how clinical it is. And then you go to the grow facility where they actually grow the marijuana, spotless. You could eat off the floor. And then you go to the place where they make the edibles, the candy bars and things. And again, it's amazing the quality of the people. These are not hippies or homeless people making this stuff. These are all chemists and PhDs and MBAs. It's a real business-oriented industry. And as far as what I learned, I think I learned that the best way to do this is to decentralize, to let the local governments be in charge. One of the things we did 2 years ago, we were told that the state kind of had to manage things, and so we had a very state-driven, top-down approach. And if you look at what's happened, if you compare, like, for example, Colorado and Washington State has this model similar to our model, where they're very state-oriented. They both passed recreational marijuana at the same time. Washington State is still trying to get it out there. Colorado, because it's decentralized, remember the local governments, got it out there. It's going full boom, and there's no troubles. But if there are troubles, it's all local, so the local governments know how to deal with it. So that's where I think we're going to try to go, and that's the bills that we're passing this session deal with that. They try to push control back to the local government and say, where do they go? You make that decision. Who you pick, you make that decision. Those are your decisions.
Recreational marijuana is on the 2016 Nevada ballot, making pot legal in 2017 if voters approve. From the Nevada legislature, I'm Teresa Catalani for the Stealth Reporter.